Call the meeting order. Call the roll.
No question.
Let the camera do it.
Those gotta be somewhere.
2 years. Right there,
All right, call the meeting to order. Will the clerk call the roll?
Mayor Patricelli,
Present?
Councilwoman Diamond,
Present.
Councilman Dawes.
Here.
All right. Well, I ask everybody to please stand. We'll say I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll ask to have the minutes of the previous meeting read, please.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the September 22nd meeting.
I'll second.
All right, motion made in second. Call the roll, please.
Councilman Dawes,
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor. All right, we'll start off with the report of officers and committees.
All right, just a couple here from our office. We are paving, or we paved yesterday and today on 19th Street in the areas between 4th Avenue and 5th Avenue. We also milled today 3rd Avenue from 19th Street south, and in between 19th and 18th Street, actually through the millings, we had a bubbling water. We had a water break there, so it was fortunate that that arose this evening. Our guys are out there working now and finishing that up so we can top coat 3rd Avenue and finish that paving for that project. As you can see, progress is moving forward on the windows, doors, and soffits. We're going very, very well. Heating system starts getting installed on Monday, and it's going to be 1 week until that gets finalized. So by Friday, we'll have a heating system, and then we'll start working on the zones after that point. I had a conversation with a local trash hauler about a maintenance program for our garbage trucks. We brought one of our garbage trucks up there for help to take a look at an engine problem we were having. He then called me up and said we can put your trucks on a maintenance program, which he will monitor and charge us for labor costs and parts. And I said to the mayor, it's something that I've accepted for it, so we can actually put our trucks in a program, so we can actually extend the useful life of them, as we don't have one at this point in time. The snow tracking system harnesses came in yesterday, so we'll be installing them onto the vehicles within the next 3 weeks and have that ready for first snow. So we can have our program to monitor any of the snow storms that we have throughout the season. And lastly, the downtown revitalization application went in last Friday, as we discussed at our last meeting. Went in that Friday, and we did our walkthrough this morning with representatives from DHCR and Empire State Development. So we walked along City Hall, north on Broadway, showed them where the tunnel's going to be, up 16th Street, and then all the way up to the railroad tracks, which is the DRI Center, and then our way back, walked them across the pool and back here to City Hall. And to finalize the DRI application process, we will be doing a presentation to the selection committee next Wednesday, and fingers crossed that we have a chance this time around.
Is that like a Zoom presentation, or you're actually going to go someplace and make the presentation?
We actually are going to their offices, Empire State Development's offices over in Troy.
Okay.
So that's where the Capital Region office is, in the Headley building. And we've been asked to attend and do the presentation.
Is that something that I could go to, or is it not open to the public, or?
I could ask, I don't know.
That's
Are you
okay.
going? I just don't want to have a corner when we go, because they're private meetings.
Oh, okay.
So I honestly, you guys decide. I mean,
Okay.
I can
Well,
ask.
one of us will go.
Yeah, I could ask with it, but certainly we can, we'll find out.
I think they'd like to see me there today, too.
Okay.
Yes. No,
I
I think
don't think so.
that's
You didn't
important.
think
It's
that?
important.
No, I do agree. I do agree. Yes.
Other-
There was a lot of Q&A along the walk.
It's an overload.
But there was a lot of Q&A during the walk.
We're on film.
And then, I think, they liked what they heard. We had a brownfield right along the DRI, which is the old Admiral Cleaners, which is a positive. Well, positive in the sense that it's good money
Right.
spent to
Right.
try to clean that place up. It's being cleaned up.
And it can be reused.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was some of those things, because that was the question that popped up when we were at the corner, when you looked at Adirondack Tire and the gas station. First question was, is that a designated brownfield? And I said, no. As we walked up the street, I said, no, here's your designated brownfield. Saw the tanks, drums that are in there. So it raises his upper level that it's useful money going into the quarter. Not that you want a brownfield in your municipality, but it helps,
Right.
with some of the conversation.
And especially that it was also handled.
It was
handled.
Yes.
Yeah, it was handled.
Yes.
It's not like if there's 3 of them or 4 of them there and
Right.
the
Just sitting there.
DRI is going to look at that and say,
Yeah.
well, you've got years before this is going to be,
Right.
worked on,
Right.
that kind of
Yep.
thing.
Yep, okay.
So we're,
Good.
we'll know more after Wednesday. And then after that, I think they're trying to make selection process by end of November, early December. So I'm hopeful that'll be, we go up against other municipalities that have had theirs in for a few years. But this year they have the New York Forward, which is the mini DRI. So if you don't get the large 10 million, you might get something else with it. But at least it puts you in line to go forward.
Right.
So.
Okay, thanks.
Good.
That's it.
Good job, Joe.
Okay. All right, we'll go into old business.
Your Honor, there is no old business on this evening's agenda.
Thank you, Dave. All right, new business, please.
The first order of new business is a public hearing for the City of Watervliet's 2023 water budget.
All right, what we'll do is we'll open up the public hearing for the City of Watervliet 2023 water budget. There's no one here to be able to have any discussion. There's no presentation. We made the presentation, discussed it, reviewed it. And so what we'll do now is
Make a motion to close.
no, we'll just close it. We just need to close the public hearing. So we'll close the public hearing and we'll move into the next one.
The next is a public hearing for the City of Watervliet's 2023 sewer budget.
Okay, we'll open up the public hearing for the sewer budget. Just to make sure, what we did is just on the water budget, there was no increase.
Correct.
So there's no increase on the water budget, and on the sewer budget, it was a $4.63.
5%.
$4.89 or something like that?
$4.69.
69-cent increase
Per unit, per 6 months.
per 6 months. All right, so just
So
basically
$9.38.
$9.38. Yeah, just wanted to make sure that was noted as well.
On the record, yeah.
All right, so there's no one here to make any comments on the sewer budget. I'll close that public hearing and we'll move into the next item.
The next item of business is an introduction of a local law to amend Chapter 209 of the Code of the City of Watervliet.
So here is a copy of what I hope will be the final version of the local law regarding Chapter 209. This is the local law that we talked about in the past, which basically prohibits the use of tobacco and cannabis products in all city parks. You'll remember it was some time ago, perhaps 6 to 9 months ago, when a representative of one of the state organizations was here to talk about the need for these sorts of legislation. So this meets the requirement. The state law did change recently that allowed cities to do this for state parks. In addition, I should remind Joe that the representative that was here said that there's funding available for signs and things along those lines. So the legislation does authorize the city to purchase signs and things like that. So it prevents smoking, it prevents helping anybody smoke, and interestingly, it prevents anybody putting ashtrays out, which would obviously encourage smoking. in any of the city's parks. So we need to have a public hearing on this, which I think we can do next, 2 weeks from today.
Yep, October 20th.
And then, depending upon how that goes, we will be able to pass the local law after that.
Okay.
Does that have to be advertised in the record?
It does.
Okay. All right. So that's the introduction. Then we'll move on to the next one is the ordinance.
Excuse me. Ordinance number 6 for 2022. This is an ordinance of the City of Watervliet, New York, amending Chapter 266, Water of the Code of the City of Watervliet, establishing and imposing water rates for the water billing periods of November 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2023, and May 1st, 2023 through October 31st, 2023.
I'll make a motion.
And I will second it.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Again, this is the reflecting of a 0% increase in the water bill. This is probably, what, the second or third? We didn't have one. The first one we did in 19, I think, right? I think we did it in 19.
19 was to cover
The-
To cover
To cover
government.
the assessment.
correct.
Right. To cover the assessment. So 20, 21, 22, there were no increases.
Correct.
Good. That's good news. All right. Any other questions?
Nope, no questions.
We'll call the roll.
Councilman Dawes?
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor.
Local law number 4 for 2022. This is a local law to amend Chapter 230, Sewers of the Code of the City of Watervliet, and it establishes and imposes sewer rents for the sewer billing periods of November 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2023, and May 1st, 2023 through October 31st, 2023.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on local law number 4 for 2022.
I will second that motion.
Okay, again, per our discussion, we had to have an increase in here, and it's $9.38 per unit for next year. And the reason for the increase, Amanda, is because of the increase in the rates charged by the county?
Correct. Also, additional personnel, just in general in the city.
Okay. So there's a county increase and some personnel increase, charges? Okay. Okay.
Well, I don't want to say county increase, more the consortium,
This,
the CSO group increase in charges for that.
the charges?
Yeah,
Oh, this, okay. Got it.
which is
Oh,
not necessarily the county.
Got it. Okay. And that was to do work down in the city of Albany?
Partially. Also, we're doing our CSO project here as well.
Okay.
CSO separation project.
Okay. Any other questions?
No questions.
Okay. Call the roll.
Councilman Dawes?
Favor?
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor.
Resolution number 68 for 2022. This is a resolution approving the appointment of members of the Citizens Advisory Committee.
I will make a motion to approve resolution number 68 for 2022.
I'll second it.
Okay, Joe?
As mentioned in the read, this is for the Citizens Advisory Committee. That's part of the CDBG Housing Rehab Program, which is required by the state of New York. We are entering into the appointment of Ms. Holly Collette, Mr. Robert Lindsay, and Mr. Steve Golding as the advisory committee. And they will review the applications for housing rehab through the CDBG program, make recommendations back to me, and then we bring those recommendations to the council. Correct? I think we have to bring before the council? We don't. I apologize, yes.
That's okay.
Okay, so they'll make
Once they make the
recommendations for the funding.
recommendations to approve, you can
Yep.
move forward. You can bring it to the council, but you do not have to.
No, we don't need to start practice than if we did in the past. Okay.
That might be a nice one.
You what?
That might be a nice one. All right, any other questions?
No, no questions.
Okay. All right, then call the roll, please.
Councilman Dawes?
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor.
Your Honor, that concludes the new business on this evening's agenda.
Awesome. All right. appropriations accounting?
Well, we've already talked about the lawsuit. That was what I had to bring up here, so, nothing,
The lawsuit was the
the small claims.
small claims. Okay. All right, and we just had our police budget workshop preceding this. And next meeting is the 20th, and we're going to have what?
Fire and administration,
Both?
both.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay.
It's to accommodate everyone's schedule.
cool, okay. All right, thank you. All right, just a few items before we go into the public comment period that I had. I had the opportunity to meet with the Arsenal commander and some other community representatives. They're talking about a 5-year plan to remodernize the Arsenal. They're talking about, I think it's over $1 billion worth of work that they're going to be doing there in the next over 5 years. They'll be renovating their forward systems, a lot of their other, let's say, processes that they have in the upscaling of the technology. And they're actually looking for room, and moving around. One of them's going to result in a couple of moves that, some of the private enterprise there, which is the extreme molding, that, they're going to have to move out, so that they're working with them now. But the commander there was talking about some other items that that they have, and basically also it's important to know too is that they're still looking for technical, working with Hudson Valley, so they're trying to get the technical skills up there for the area, and they're trying to work with the high schools and the colleges itself to be able to bring people in, because they're going to need more people, to be able to run these computers and these operations. So we're actually meeting with the commander and the superintendent, and I will be meeting soon to discuss some things here, the opportunities here with the school. They're working with other schools as well, and especially with Hudson Valley. So that was one. Joe and I were talking about let's say the progress we were making with the cameras at 7th Street Park.
Yes.
We were working on that. We have some proposals on our that was submitted to be able to put in a pole of cameras, and working with the Watervliet Development or Watervliet Community Foundation there. He still wants to put in a playground down there, but we didn't want to do that until we got the cameras. He's willing to help us a little bit with the cameras, sharing the cost with the city to be able to put the pole and the cameras in. So as soon as we get settled with that, we can proceed with that to get the numbers together. Okay. The couple of things that we had is Joe and I received an email from a lady. We're still talking about an issue with zoning. Ms. King, who's complaining about some issues that we have, and we still have to work on that, Brian, on that, handling some. She wanted to come here tonight, and I told her I'd make that known to her, to the group here.
Is this the meeting that you wanted that you guys
This is
have?
another one.
It's a nuisance.
Oh.
This is
The nuisance.
the operation over and above the approval that was granted by the city.
Oh,
This
yes.
is one,
Right.
on 5th.
Okay.
Okay, so that one's going on. The other thing would be, was we met with a couple of the residents regarding the noise issues. We've talked about them, we've looked at some of the laws, they seem to be conflicting. There's obviously things in there that are not, let's say put together in a way that was, makes it work. So we need to look at that, which is both something fair for the business and also fair for the residents. So I think there's some middle ground there that we can look at, but I think it's going to require some changes both in the law and also in our procedures. So that's one of the things that we need to look at. So, Brian, I know we got asked about a meeting with that. If we can actually look around for something like some templates of some sort, that makes sense.
I'll see what some other communities do.
Yeah, whatever it is. I'm sure we don't need to reinvent the wheel, but it's certainly there. And I know, Joe, the other thing on the officers and committees was the tree committee. Did you guys make any final decisions on the trees? Because I had to leave.
Yeah, no, there was Bill Farr. Is it Bill? Yeah,
Bill.
Paul. Paul Farr.
Oh, Paul, right, okay.
Paul
sorry.
Farr was going to call the tree company,
Yeah,
and that price stands where it is.
because it didn't move.
It did not move.
Okay,
So it's a $9,000 fee for installation.
okay.
So, and they only have 7,000, and they don't want to deplete their coffers.
Right.
So we're probably looking at 8,000. They might be looking towards the city to
Now,
offset
we can also, I mean, one of the things I didn't offer to the committee that day, I didn't really even think of it, but we can pick and choose. They can put in 35 trees, and maybe we could put in 10, that kind of thing, and, cut that down a little bit by just not having to pay them.
The only other thought I had, and I hadn't reached out to Shannon yet, or to the LDC, they could pay it, and then they could get reimbursement back from the LDC, or the tree committee as well with it. There's potential they could do that. Front the money and then get paid back, to offset them. Just like we did something with them for, what was it?
Fire and ice.
Fire and Ice, that they were able to receive money and so on. So there's a
I know,
possibility.
but what's that, that's still gonna be an expense.
It could be an expense to them. We could talk, about it through the process, but I was just thinking for a way, instead of coming to the general fund, possibly having the LDC help and assist from a beautification standpoint. Because I still don't know how much they want to pay the tree committee.
Right.
We know it's 9,000.
Yeah,
and
I
they
think
don't
they
want
were
it
talking
depleted.
about trying to keep like 2,500, I think in their,
Yeah.
in their thing. And then some of that would be reimbursed by the, the
People
recoup,
selling trees.
by
right.
bringing them back, but that would
Exactly.
bring them back up.
Correct.
In that sense.
Yeah.
But,
But I was going to see if the LDC could potentially pay the shortfall.
the city isn't able to pay any shortfall.
Oh, it's not about inability to pay it, I was just trying to think of another way to
Okay.
pay it.
Okay.
So
Because I
these
know
are
we got
not,
some of these unfunded expenses,
Right,
like
I get it.
cameras and those type of things, so I'm just kind of curious just to see.
Right.
so these are not the trees that are being, like, I guess, adopted by people, like in memory of, or,
They are.
It is.
Oh, they are.
They can be, but we have to pay for it up front, and then what we can do is go out and then let's say, request that they be
Remark it.
memorialized.
Yeah.
And something like this, so then that revolves them into another, load of trees. The trees that we're looking at are basically the trees that we received from National Grid, their 10,000 trees program.
Yes.
And they were giving us about 100, I think it was about 100 trees.
Something, yeah.
So they're talking about giving us 100 trees. We put in 30, 40, somewhere around there
Yeah.
already. We put in some, Scott Boycer put in some, so now they're ready to give us another 45 trees of that order.
oh,
Okay, and then they want to put it, giving us 45 trees is a lot to take on and chew at one
it's a lot
time.
of trees.
Especially this time of the year.
Yeah,
you
so
can't get to 'em.
it makes
Yeah, that's a
makes
lot.
it very difficult for us, because and one of the problems they've been having is basically ordering. It's just been
Right.
called the chain there or whatever it is, but they weren't able to get a lot of trees coming in or something. But they want to give us the 45 trees, so Okay. All right. Is there? That's
No,
all.
Just to follow up on that conversation regarding extreme molding, while we're doing our DRI walk-around, I did talk to Joe Landy and to Linda Dillon about that, so I'm going to bring them to meet with them. I know we can't seat them here in the city of Watervliet because we don't have 35,000 square feet of any type of manufacturing space here. That's what they're looking for, that's what they're hoping for. Plus, our city is limited with electrical grid, so we really can't figure out where to move them within the city. They need about 400, I think it's 400 megahertz, which is like 3-4 phase, whatever that may be. They do a lot with power and injection, so it's surging type of power, so I know we can't handle it here in the city. We've talked to Green Island Industrial Park. Unfortunately, that's like $15 or $16 a square foot, where they're paying $6 right now. So unfortunately, we have to bring them into the realization that the market is not going to pay, find what they're currently paying. I had a conversation with Louise, although it's in Colony. What I'm trying to do is preserve, they have 85 jobs, 50 of which are designated to Watervliet, and it's all bus line people. So if they move any further, I asked about Jupiter Lane in Colony, which is another great incubator type of space, but it would take 2 transfers for our people from Watervliet. And they're more worried about the integrity of losing the people that they've trained.
Sure.
Now, their length of employment, the longest tenured employee that they have on a workforce is 14 years. Not administration, this is a workforce.
Wow.
So, and like I say, 50 out of the 85 can be attributed to bus route, employees right here from Watervliet. So that's what I'm going after, is to make sure that stays here. That's why I want it to be in one of the river cities that we look for. No deeper than Rensselaer, because that's only 1 transfer.
Right.
But Green Island, Cohoes, any place like that is a straight line shot to get there. So we're going to continue to work with them. I gave Lynn, our pledge. Steve and I met with them there, that we'll try to work and try to see what we can. But when I have those conversations, when I bring this state to the next meeting, it's more the realism as to what square footage cost is, and then how can the state help them keep the jobs here. So we're going to continue to work with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Pretty good. Yeah?
okay, all right. Then we'll go into the next item, would be the public comment.
At this time, the council has authorized a public comment period. You have 2 minutes with which to address the council on any items you wish. We ask that you step to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
All right. Seeing that there isn't anyone here to make a public comment, then I'll formally close the public comment period. And after that, if there's nothing else before the council, I entertain a motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second that.
unless you want to stay.
No.
Okay. Okay. Call the roll, please.
Councilman Dawes.
In favor.
Councilwoman Down.
In favor?
Mayor Patricella.
In favor.